Hello everyone, Lytro Storm here, and today I'm going to do another What If. This one will be, what if Yamcha was a Saiyan? It was voted on by my Discord, so it was the one I chose, but now let's dive straight into this story. So, like my Chi-Chi and Tenshinhan series, we will be making Yamcha born as a Saiyan who is sent to Earth. Let's just say Tora is his father, and his wife sent him off to Earth after she heard about what Bardock and Gine were doing. Now, Yamcha will still be older than Goku, so don't worry about the age changes, there really aren't any here. He hits his head, forgetting his ancestry just like Goku did as well. Yamcha grows up in the desert, quickly adapting to his life in the wasteland and meeting Puar. Because he basically lives outside, he would become an Uzaru nearly every time the full moon showed. And due to that, Puar would hide until the mornings and let him know what occurred. Yamcha decides to keep his tail anyway and tries to work on a way to control the form. This takes a lot of training and he still isn't fully able to do it though. Anyway, as a Saiyan, not having anything to do for like 16 years would make him want to train. So he would spend his years in the wasteland getting a lot stronger. A decade of doing nothing but training is quite a lot, so he would be over double Goku's strength when he shows up. For reference, Goku's starter power level was about a 10. So Yamcha is just going to be able to obliterate Goku whenever he shows up, but thankfully he sees Goku's tail and has some sort of familiarity to him. So he decides to join them on their adventure. Plus, he's also interested in the Dragon Balls, so that's another reason. The gang continues on with their journey after teaming up with Yamcha, with most of the stuff going the same. However, when they get trapped in the Pilaf castle, Yamcha will easily bust through the wall. This allows them to beat up the Pilaf gang and actually take the time to think about their wish. But both Yamcha and Goku have what they wanted, which is love. Goku also doesn't really have anything he'd want to bring back, besides his grandpa, but his grandpa doesn't want that. So Oolong still gets his wish after all, or maybe Bulma gets the strawberries or whatever. Goku and Yamcha also both become Uzarus, but Yamcha is able to control it to some degree. This allows for him to restrain Goku and then resist trying to attack everyone else. Puar cuts off Goku's tail, and Yamcha runs away to avoid attacking people. The next morning, the gang regroups and discusses their plans. After hearing that Goku wants to go train with Roshi, Yamcha decides to do the same. He's seeking greater strength, and he knows that normal training won't cut it when he's this strong. That's why his power level is pretty low despite training this whole time. So he goes with Goku, and they train with Roshi together. Because Yamcha is already stronger than either Goku or Krillin, Roshi will up the training for him. By the end, Yamcha will be the strongest of Roshi's students by far. And so the tournament comes around, and now we get to see them fight. Yamcha fights Jackie Chun, and while he does far better, he doesn't quite have the ability to win this fight, so he loses after a long struggle. From there, the rest of the tournament goes the same up until the point where Goku goes Uzaru. Because Yamcha would also do that, and would once again restrain Goku, Roshi blows up the moon, and so that leads to the rest playing out as per normal, but with Yamcha also going back to his normal state. After that, Yamcha goes off and does his own training until he is found again by Goku to join the Baba tournament. Yamcha here will be much more impressive. His skills are far more refined, and he's a lot stronger, so when he fights the Invisible Man, he won't have nearly as much trouble. He then goes up against Bandages the Mummy, and is actually able to beat him pretty easily as well. So Yamcha at this point is kind of the MVP, but he does fail against Spike the Devilman, since he is quite a bit stronger than Bandages. But the fact that Yamcha was able to fight Spike to a good degree was very impressive. Goku only bested Spike after his training under Korin. The gang goes their separate ways after winning and meeting Grandpa Gohan once again, with Krillin and Yamcha going back to train under Roshi. Because Yamcha is much stronger, this makes Krillin a lot stronger as well. Yamcha by this point is going to be even stronger than Goku. While his power level sits at 180, Yamcha is at 200. So now let's go ahead and get into the 22nd Budokai. When Yamcha is set to fight against Tenshinhan, the story of that fight will be far different. Tenshinhan was also at a 180 power level, so if Yamcha is at 200, this means he's also stronger than him as well. So Yamcha is going to have the edge in power, and because of this, Tenshinhan would have to go all out, even using his techniques. He would use the Four Witches and Solar Flare occasionally just so he can keep up with Yamcha. When Yamcha does his Kamehameha Wave, Tenshinhan is not going to be able to use his Ki. This attack is far too strong to negate, so he will instead dodge, still being grazed by the powerful blast. Master Shen would order Chaozu to use his telekinesis to stop Yamcha from landing attacks, and so Tenshinhan would eventually win because of this, though Yamcha isn't going to get injured at all. After this, the tournament goes mostly the same, with the main difference being that Krillin is able to beat Chaozu a lot easier and would stand a better chance against Goku. Once the Budokai is done with, Krillin goes to get Goku's things and gets killed by Tambourine. Goku chases after him, and Yamcha knows that he has to go after Goku. So the two go off, and they're able to kill Tambourine together. After that, Goku collapses from exhaustion, having had 2 hard-fought battles, and Yamcha decides to carry him. They eventually come across Yajirobe, who is hostile at first, but when Symbol shows up, Yajirobe kills him and joins their side. King Piccolo arrives later, and leads to Yamcha and Goku fighting him at the same time. While they are able to hold their own quite well, King Piccolo separates them and attacks one at a time. He is able to escape with the Dragon Ball and leave the two hurt. Yajirobe takes them up to Korin's tower and they get healed up. Korin then tells them of the Ultra Divine Water, and so Goku goes first in drinking it. Yamcha then follows, making them both massively stronger. They head toward King Piccolo and show up to see Tenshinhan being beaten by Drum. Yamcha one-shots Drum and Goku fights King Piccolo, but when the Demon King gets the advantage on Goku, Yamcha is able to jump in to help. So by the end, King Piccolo would be dead. Yamcha joins Goku in trying to bring back Shenron, leading to them both going to the lookout. Mr. Popo is able to beat both of them easily at the same time, so they don't stand much of a chance there. When Kami steps outside, both Goku and Yamcha charge at him. This leads to Popo having to step in and take one of them down while Kami blocks the other. Kami agrees to bring back Shenron if Goku and Yamcha train on the lookout to fight Piccolo Jr. in the next Budokai. They agree, and so Shenron, Krillin, Roshi, and Chaozu are all brought back to life. Over the 3 years, Yamcha and Goku being able to spar with each other and would make them a lot stronger. By this point, the two are close rivals and are the strongest fighters on Earth. They also both get their tails cut off by Kami, but Yamcha is kinda bummed about it. When they show up to the Budokai, we would see everyone from in canon enter. The first 2 fights would go the same, but fight 3 is a bit different. Because Krillin is a lot stronger, Piccolo is going to have to take his weights off to beat him. Also, Yamcha is easily able to slam Kami, so yeah, he makes it to the next round. Goku still beats Tenshinhan, albeit even easier because he's stronger now, and Yamcha fights Piccolo Jr., but since he is stronger than Goku was in canon, he's actually going to be able to beat Piccolo. So this means the final match is Goku versus Yamcha. This one would be really close as they're both about even in terms of power. They also both have a lot of skill and good techniques at their disposal, but I will say that Goku would likely win after a really close fight. After that, Chi-Chi and Goku leave to go get married. I also think that Yamcha and Bulma would get married during this time. I know a lot of people are going to be mad about this, but let me explain. Yamcha was stated to be a cheater by Toriyama, but as a Saiyan who is devoted to training, he would have no reason to cheat. So Yamcha would actually stick with Bulma this time. And Bulma clearly loved Yamcha in the original series before he was cheating and even when he was cheating. So if he keeps that up, there's no reason for her to leave him. So during the 5 years, Yamcha and Bulma would have a kid together. This would be Trunks, who was born much earlier in this timeline due to his parents both being together earlier. He would be about the same age as Gohan, but younger by a month or 2. Yamcha has been training a lot during the time skip, and getting a lot stronger by the end. Yamcha goes with Bulma to meet Goku, and they also bring Trunks. Gohan and Trunks seem to get along nicely, and Goku, Yamcha, and Krillin are happy to reunite. Raditz arrives, seeing his brother and explaining his heritage. He brings up the Saiyan tales, and Yamcha realizes that he is also one of them. So Raditz now realizes that there are 2 Saiyans and 2 half Saiyans, which makes him very intrigued. Raditz offers them to join him, but of course they deny his offer. And so Raditz beats up Krillin, Goku, and Yamcha, and then takes Gohan and Trunks. This infuriates Goku and Yamcha, so they team up with Piccolo to go fight Raditz. This fight doesn't go too well, even with all 3 of them fighting at the same time. However, they do better than they did in canon. When Gohan breaks out of the pod, Trunks would do the same. His power level wouldn't be as high as Gohan's, but it would still be enough to damage Raditz. And with 2 really strong attacks back to back, Raditz would be crushed. Goku then grabs him and Piccolo uses the special beam cannon, killing the 2. So now Raditz reveals that the Saiyans will come in a year, so the gang goes off to train. Piccolo wants to train Trunks and Gohan, and Yamcha knows that it's the best thing to do. This could be very useful against the Saiyans, so he tells Bulma that he will go train with Piccolo to make sure the kids are safe. He's already passed Kami's training, so he can afford to miss out on it. But the human Z fighters haven't trained with Kami yet, so they're going to be doing that now in order to get massive gains. But since they're missing an entire training partner, i.e. Yamcha, they're going to be weaker than in canon. Except for Krillin, because he was already stronger, so if he gets a smaller boost, it'll just kind of balance him out to the same level. Meanwhile, Gohan, Piccolo, and Yamcha are all stronger than in canon. This is because 4 of them training at the same time is a lot more effective than just Gohan and Piccolo. So by the end, Piccolo's power level is about 5,500 and Yamcha's is 6,500. So for Piccolo, originally he was 3,500, meaning that in this timeline he is 2,000 power level stronger. After losing his tail from training with Kami and seeing Trunks and Gohan go Uzaru during the training, Yamcha is more interested to find some way to draw out that power, but it's very difficult for him to do. Anyway, the Saiyans arrive and the Z fighters confront them, leading to the Cybermen being planted. However, Yamcha is able to easily dispatch all of them on his own. Vegeta sends Nappa into attack, but Yamcha is easily able to sauce on him as well. Even when Nappa becomes calm and is able to access his full power, Yamcha still has the upper hand. He is able to beat down on the brute and leave him immobilized like Goku did. Vegeta then kills Nappa since he no longer has a use for him. Now, seeing that neither the Cybermen nor Nappa killed anyone, Vegeta decides to fight, as he wants to at least kill some of them before Goku shows up, because in canon he actually did think they would be a threat if they all teamed up. The Prince is easily able to kill Chaozu and Tenshinhan, especially because they are much weaker than in canon. He then goes on to kill Piccolo, with some struggle from the group, since Piccolo is quite a bit stronger than anyone else that he's killing. However, after that, Goku arrives, seeing how many of his friends are dead. He is even stronger than in canon, with a power level over 9,000 for real this time. He gives the gang the last Senzu Bean, and they split it between the most injured people. Goku now proceeds to fight the Prince one-on-one, and the fight goes mostly the same, but with Goku not needing Kaioken x3 as much, since he is a bit stronger. After losing the Kamehameha Gallic Gun Beam Clash, Vegeta goes Uzaru, crushing Goku in his palm. Krillin and the gang have decided to return by this point, so Yajirobe cuts Vegeta's tail off and makes himself useful. Yamcha fights the weakened Vegeta with the help of Trunks and Gohan, while Krillin takes the Spirit Bomb from Goku. Krillin throws it back at the Prince, leading to them bouncing it back and forth until it finally hits Vegeta. After that, the Saiyan retreats to its pod and escapes Earth. The gang celebrate their victory, but they know that they have to go to Namek now in order to revive everyone since Piccolo and Kami and the Dragon Balls died. So we're gonna end this part right here, as we've covered all of Dragon Ball and an entire arc of Z. So we've made it pretty far, so I think it's good to stop here. And we'll come back to you guys with part 2 that will cover the Frieza arc. Anyways guys, I hope you all enjoyed this video, and if you want a sequel, let me know. But as always, tell me if you liked this part, tell me what you think will happen next, comment your requests for future videos, and subscribe. Thank you for watching, have a great day.